Today, I take on the hardest Pokemon game ever, with basically an impossible rule set, all while using only shiny Pokemon. But the real question here is, why? Why would I even perform such a task? What, just enjoy the pain? Let me explain things here just a little. Because not only am I going to be using a full team of shiny Pokemon, I'll also be doing it in the hardest Pokemon game ever. Modified to be even harder. And then, modified again on top of that, to even be much harder. This may not be the world's first double hack or anything like that, but it does include some very niche inside jokes, in case that's what you're looking for, since it was actually made by a YouTuber. Oh no, not that guy. This one right here, Ludwig. To honor Ludwig, honestly one of the only streamers I ever watch, not a big stream guy. We should also make this challenge a ludlocke, using his self-imposed rules that consist of, your regular Nuzlocke rules, with very interesting twisted turns that I'll explain later on in the video. If this video can get 15,000 likes, in honor of the man behind the hack, inside the hack, I'll be doing the unimaginable. That's right, I'll do a stream for a one-time only exclusive. 24 hours straight, no breaks, in a very interesting Pokemon challenge, so to speak. So, if you want to see this, hit the like, and let's just play the game already. Let's just address the elephant in the room here. Yes, this awfully looks like Pokemon Platinum, doesn't it? That's not our regular main character here, is it? Well, that's because that's Ludwig. Yep, put himself in his own game. But not in this playthrough. As you'll see, I named our rival Ludwig instead. Of course, I just had to make things complicated. We're really off to a great start here, aren't we? We've done a shiny only in Pokemon Platinum before, but nothing quite like this. To start off, we're not going to even use a shiny starter, because, according to Ludwig, Nuzlockes, they don't start until you get your Pokeballs. Sort of sounds like a scam if you ask me, but this changes absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. Other than, having a good starter Pokemon, you're just going to have to go through our, Route 1 options instead. But don't worry, we'll get there eventually. But first, we're gonna have to meet up with the professor and qtcinderella, Ludwig's IRL girlfriend, who replaces Dawn in this game. We get our Pokedex and Pokeballs, and we can officially start this challenge. Well, as the rules state, we can only catch one shiny Pokemon per route. So the first shiny Pokemon that we encounter on each route is our only option. It's no redos, no second tries. Meaning we have a few good options here, but we also have some very not so favorable ones too. Like Bidoof. Of course, the one we end up capturing. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Bidoof. But is shiny? Not so much. I mean, what's the big difference? It's just slightly more blonde. Yup, that's it. I'm convinced it's one of those shiny Pokemon, if you weren't looking when it shined, you might not even notice the difference. This one only took around about, 5 hours. Yup. Only 5 hours. It's time to check our comments by most recent to name this bad boy. That's right, I'll be naming these Pokemon after our most recent comments. If you want to be named after some of these Pokemon in the videos, just head to do the comment thing. I can't guarantee anything. We sorted by most recent, we named this bad boy Home Alone 2. You know what? I like it. Just like Home Alone 2, we do technically have an advantage going into the next gym, as we are going to learn Water Gun. Speaking of leveling up and learning Water Gun, we can't level up past the current gym leader's strongest Pokemon. If that happens, we can't use the Pokemon until we beat the gym that we have more levels than. Just for example, Rorik, or I guess Tim, Ludwig's loyal mod, his highest Pokemon is level 16. Plus, he has a lot of Pokemon. A lot more than regular Rorik did. Perfect IVs, natures, and even held items. This game ain't messing around. What that means? We're gonna need a lot more than just Bidoof here. I trained Home Alone 2 in the next route. This is where I found out favorite Pokemon of all time. It's right here on the second route. I can't just leave until we try to catch it at least. And we search, and we search, and we search. For much longer, which is fine. I'm used to these sort of things. We've caught a shiny Pokemon in almost every single Pokemon game to this point. So what's another 7 hours gonna do? Yep, only 7 hours. And that right there, not my favorite Pokemon. So everyone, welcome Hall of Fang. Can't get much better than that for nicknames so far. You guys are really killing it with the usernames. We train up our team, and this is where I search up how difficult the next gym actually was in real time. And let's just say we're gonna need at least 2 more Pokemon. So, what's next? How about we shiny hunt an egg? Normally egg hunts are terrible. You just have to walk long distances to hatch them. And you're usually only doing this in Pokemon Crystal, where you have increased odds in an odd egg. Or you're doing Matsuda method. Let's be honest, that's just nonsense mumbo jumbo to the regular Pokemon normies like Ludwig. I'll speak regular talk for you. This egg here hatches quick. Very few steps. But make sure to save before you get the egg. You can't save after. Because if you save after, you're gonna have to start all over again. You see, it's determined if your Pokemon is gonna be shiny the second you pick up the egg. So resetting ain't gonna change what's inside after that. You can't just magically get a double yolk when you had a single yolk just 30 seconds ago. Or else, you know, maybe your mom would have self-reset you if she had the second chance. But anyways, back on track. This egg contains every single baby Pokemon thus far in Generation 4, which is surprisingly a lot of Pokemon. So we better get to hatching eggs, and we're going to be doing this for a while. And we lose track pretty quick. Our in-game time resets every time we reset the egg. While we're hatching multiple eggs, why not study the man who conceptualized this ROM hack, and maybe for a little insight on how his brain works. You know what? That just made it harder. I don't think I have as many brain cells as I once did. But eventually, we hatch a shiny Azurill. Very good typing for the next gym. But you bet your bottom dollar I didn't utilize this Pokemon nearly as good as I should have. But at least bare minimum, we got to name it Cutcats. For the gym, we have our very first, difficult battle with Ludwig. And I say difficult in air quotations, because Hall of Fang just deals with every single one of Ludwig's Pokemon here. Before our first gym, we're going to need one last crucial member of our team. I'm a Chop. You'd think I'd be set with 2 water types here. And even with our Beaver, who evolved into, a much more doofy looking Beaver, water is not enough or safe in the Rock Gym, as a lot of his Pokemon have electric moves, or even fighting. So, having a fighting Pokemon of our own is our safest option by far. We only have one shot, one opportunity. And yeah, we let it slip. It's a Larvitar. Congratulations, you really f***ed this one up. It's time to take on Tim64, who's such a rock legend they ended up naming a boomer Nintendo console after. How does a guy like that end up being a Ludwig mod? He must have fell on some hard times. You get it? Because it's a rock gym. Starting the battle off, we open up with our newfound Toad 91 and go for not 1, not 2, but 4 bulldozes to take out his nose pass that missed twice and only set up 1 stealth rocks in the meantime. Great job you did there. You see, this is where I may have, fuckity-wuckitied a little bit. Because this Pokemon right here, I could have been real smart and evolved this if I had, followed the proper procedures. Increased its friendship beforehand, which would have made it a lot more useful. But I'm dumb. Might have been because I watched those Ludwig videos. Maybe I would have thought of that beforehand. So Cutcats does take some Stealth Rocks damage on switching, and a low sweep. And other than that, it's looking like sunshine and rainbows from here on out. Wait, what's that? That's it? That's all a Bubble Beam does? No, this can't be right. We're gonna need some good luck to win this one. We can't really switch into Hall of Fang, because it's weak to fighting. Or we can't switch into, Toad 91, who's 4 times weak to fighting. Or even Home Alone 2. Despite him having Donald Trump in his movie, he's actually weak to fighting too. You starting to see the trend here? Let's just say, Jake Paul would sign a contract to fight any member on my team, except for Cutcats. Despite it being a baby, not weak to fighting, he's not taking a chance. Forced to stay in, and eventually, Cutcats is our first Pokemon to meet its end. Home Alone 2 does do a clean box office sweep next turn, of Mankey that is, with an Aqua Jet. And next out is his Geodude, who of course has Sturdy, letting it survive with 1 HP, and Thunder Punch us right in the face. We narrowly survive, and finish it off next turn with an Aqua Jet, making him bring out his Cranidos. Not even his last Pokemon. The sad truth of the matter is, we're gonna have to say goodbye to Home Alone 2 here, because Aqua Jet just came up short. No one's really looking to take a Thunder Punch to the face. Unless I was smart and changed it to Larvitar, since, Thunder doesn't affect him. Of course, I'm not. Toad 91 comes out next turn and takes out the Cranidos. And now it's time for the mirror match against our non-shiny brethren. The normie version of us, so to speak. We both go for bulldozes and nearly take each other out, but since we were outsped on the last turn, and his Larvitar is barely hanging on, I go into Hall of Fang, praying it survives as it bulldoze, which is even stronger this time around because it burned itself and has a flame orb. And of course it has the ability Guts. We nearly survive and win our first gym battle on the next turn with a single bite. Now that we have the first gym defeated, we actually raised the level cap. And we can finally evolve Hall of Fang and even help qtcinderella beat the Space Mafia in a double battle. It's time for some new hunting methods. Hunting method number 1. You don't have to wait a day for honey trees in this game to effectively harvest them, making it like a soft reset but faster, where we can also get some really great encounters here. Shiny hunting method number 2. we will gain access to a new area where an NPC will follow us, making it spawn 2 Pokemon at once, where we can effectively hunt twice as fast. And lastly, well, we can randomly encounter a shiny while training. Yup, totally unplanned shiny Pachirisu right there out of nowhere. You know, might not be the most effective for the next gym, since it's being grass, but hours of my life saved for shiny hunting a new member, I'll take that. There's also one more method. By battling these reporters, we can receive all 3 of the Johto starters at once. Effectively, we can soft reset and check all 3 starters. And after many upon many of resets and failures, we got ourselves a shiny Totodile. Unfortunately, because of this method, we didn't get to nickname this Pokemon, because that would have required us, you know, naming hundreds of starters, just to rewind time and erase them from existence. That's a little dark if you ask me. Is Totodile our best option of the 3? No, not particularly, at least based on the next gym, but I'll take anything over this abomination. We slathered this tree with so much honey, I was wondering when Winnie the fucking Pooh was gonna spawn. After slathering about $700 of honey on this tree, we finally get our shiny encounter. A male Combee. Gender in Pokemon usually doesn't really matter, other than, you know, small in-game functions here and there. But here, with Combee, it couldn't matter more, as only female Combees can evolve. This 3-headed Cerberus Demon Bee stuck exactly how it is, till the end of time. Or until it inevitably meets its end. After all, we did name him Singleton, after the comment, and because it doesn't stand a single fucking chance. But at least we meet up with that NPC to do the double battles, and her name is, Polite. You know, it's just polite for her to add an assistance, I guess. And now it's time to work smarter and not harder. And after a very short period of time, we come across a shiny Slackoff. But you see, the hunt's not over here. Our partner here can easily attack and take out the Pokemon that we're hunting here. We have no control over her Pokemon whatsoever. So we're just gonna have to pray we didn't use all of our luck up just encountering it. We defeat the Shroomish so that we can start throwing Pokeballs here, and luckily we catch it on our first throw, meaning we can add R2U2 to the team. You know, a possible Slacking being added to the team is actually huge if we can, you know, keep it alive long enough for it to evolve there. And after many circles, you know, pacing in grass, a yellow Cloudbird finally appeared. I'll take a Swablu. You're finally getting a Pokemon effective against the gym leader. Between Alexander the Swablu and Singleton the Combee, we should really be set for this gym. I mean, Alexander and Singleton sound like 2 NPCs straight out of Elden Ring, after all. If this was a regular Pokemon game, you know, maybe we would have stood a chance. This gym leader just laughed in our face, leaving us with 2 gym badges and only 2 surviving Pokemon. Do you know how many brave soldiers had to lay down their lives for these 2 pins? I hope if you're watching this, Ludwig, you see just how cruel this all is. And also, if you're actually watching this, might as well make sure to subscribe. You know, YouTube statistics, screenshot, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. It's free and stuff. Quite obvious what we're gonna have to do here. Replace our dead pets with new ones. What better place to do that than Luigi's Haunted Mansion? You know, since the next gym is Ghost after all. So what do? We catch the best ghost type of all time. Rattata. The Zwigo. That's gotta be the smelliest rat of all time if I've ever seen one. Look at him, he's just green and gross. To be fair, once we evolve it, you can hardly tell it's even shiny. Green ain't so bad after all, is it? We then go save the bike owner from Galaxy Mafia, or whatever the organized crime in this generation is called. And that's even though our mom gave us a bike at the beginning of the game. We're just that good of a person. We then meet up with Cynthia, where we can receive an egg that she gifts us, and get the soft resetting for Togepi's. And just because I had to suffer through this in real life, you guys don't have to. So here it is. Oh wow. Look at that. It's just, you know, slightly more tanned, I guess. Couldn't even tell at first that it was a shiny. I almost soft reset right here before checking its summary. So again, no name for this one. I attempt to backtrack for a route or cave where we could get another encounter. Hoping for a shiny Riolu here, I get a Zubat. Oh, since we got the rat, we might as well get the Batter Generation 1 as well. And they say this generation is the peak of Pokemon designs, don't they? We named the Bat Adrian, and then soft reset for the Gen 1 starters, because I have very little faith in our team so far. And we end up getting Bulbasaur, the only one of the starter options here, weak to some of the next gym leaders' moveset. Oh well, at least we got the best design Generation 1 starter. What's that, you don't agree? You know what? Go ahead, drop a comment. You know, it would be a shame if you ended up being used as one of the next nicknames for the next run for your totally wrong opinion. And you got yourself killed. Well, not you, actually. I guess it's just a Pokemon named after a YouTube username. You know, wouldn't that be a shame? For some reason, we can't progress here unless we save this little girl in the cave. We utilize this time to run into a shiny Sableye. Here's the thing. I have no balls of the poker capturing variety. I do a little walk of shame and come back for eventually encountering our redemption shiny, and it's a Geodude. Not bad, but here's the thing. Herkadabra will kill it, and I'm pretty sure this is guaranteed, because the exact same thing happens to Ludwig in a very similar situation. I don't even know if I would have been allowed to catch this if I was following the rules correctly. We then have a fight with qtcinderella right after this, just for the little cherry on top of the, the already 2 failed shiny attempts. I love how she randomly has a Lopunny too. I see what you guys did there. But no matter how strong she is, we are able to keep our full team alive and arrive to the ghost gym. She really thought she could keep me from reaching her in this gym by having a puzzle with shapes. I may not be able to read, but I specialize in shapes, in Zelda puzzles. She opens up with her possessed hot air balloon that canonically abducts children, and we go into Toad 91. This cocoon rock thing now, since it's evolved. And we go for a rock slide that take very heavy shadow ball damage in return. And with quite simple, quick maths, we should, in theory, a game theory, actually survive into their shadow ball. And we do. But the problem is, you survive with 1 singular hit point. And if we would have lost this thing before it came a beautiful butterfly or Godzilla, she brings out Gengar next, and we are forced to change into Adrian, and it's not looking good. And we don't even outspeed on the next turn, so Adrian is lost, with nothing to show for his efforts. Swiggle is up next, and he lives up to his name as a sewer rat, as he survives a little sludge in the form of a bomb, and even returns a little crunch to take out Gengar. And next out is her Mischievous, who I severely underestimated its defenses here, as I go for a Sucker Punch, and immediately, we're dead. Well, Togekiss is up next. First Moonblast deals a significant amount of damage, and it's looking like an easy dub here for our non-nickname friend. Except we hit for a significantly less amount next turn. It's not looking so good all of a sudden, especially since she heals it up. So I give Ancient Power a try, and we get a special attack and defense boost. And it's enough for us to edge out the Mischievous. But there's many more Pokemon still to go here. Out next is her Dusclops, which is part Dark type. So Moonblast should be an easy KO. Well, it's not. Meaning we barely survive a Shadow Punch and take it out next turn. Any priority move here, and we would have lost, most likely our best Pokemon here. And it doesn't even have a name. Our last and best Pokemon left is Banette. And I'm feeling quite bullish with our special attack and defense boost. So I go for a Moonblast, and it's actually enough to secure the win. Oh, thank God Fairy types in this game. I mean, did I even mention this beforehand? Probably not. It's in the game. That's not too bad, only 2 losses after a gym battle. We then have a very intense battle with Lud himself, who is very short-tempered. Must be because we stole his character sprite. We walk away unscathed, like the real main character we are. Come on, obviously. We got that plot armor. We do, however, finally catch a new and blue team member to fill in the gaps. And that's indeed Curlia. We're gonna have to make sure to keep this away from Markiplier, if it lives long enough to evolve, that is. I did happen to stumble upon a shiny Medite earlier. And by stumble, I mean when I looked for it for a significant amount of time and spent life resources looking for it. By definition, just stumbled upon it. That's crazy. I'm so surprised. It's a shiny Medite. Just stumbled upon it. It makes these 2 encounters, very rare, as they actually have an advantage over the next gym for once. Last time I had that, they both died. We have to save some sort of, Pokemon mansion by beating them in the exact amount of moves that the prophecy foretells or whatever. And we even get a Manaphy egg at the end. No, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm not going to let this one slip like Mom Spaghetti. I'll reset as long as it takes for something this useful. Are you kidding me? To be fair, that is being said by someone who's already done the resets and accomplished the task, though, hence the voiceover. Because you can bet at the time, I was just ready to quit. Or, maybe just come back later and do this, because our team was already so good. But it paid off, and we got our shiny water Pokemon, and a strong one too. Nothing could ever go wrong. I didn't break the level gap rule. Nothing to see here. Just a thick-legged, Metachad here, just destroying this week exclusive at gym. I wasn't extremely pressed for time due to the sheer overall time this challenge has been taking and the YouTube upload stress or anything like that. Some may say I got the second hardest job in the world, next to streamers and crypto bros, that is. And believe me, this doesn't affect the overall challenge in the slightest. It's just our little secret, okay? Don't tell anyone, especially not Ludwig. Don't let him know. as I was saying, we destroyed that gym. This game's very hard. Nah, I don't know. It seems like it's still for children, if you ask me. And just like that, we're back to Pokemon dying. Right back to our main habitat. Running around in grass for long intervals of time. Until, that happens. And only the coolest Pokemon fans dream of encountering a shiny Noctowl. I mean, even Ash has one of those. With this shiny, we're ready for an intense battle against qtcinderella. I don't envy the things that she presumably had to do to be the best modded character in this game by far. I also caught this thing too. Honestly, does it even matter at this point? When the whole cast members on our team change more often than the Marvel Cinematic Universe? We do encounter one trainer so strong and impossible with, a full team of unreal Pokemon, including an Entei. That completely ends our whole run here, and it looks like it's all over. Nah, don't be silly. This one doesn't count. For some reason, your Pokemon don't actually faint here. Seems like it's part of the story or something. All of our Pokemon are full health right after this battle. But what was going on here? I'm not too sure if this was like a meme, I guess anyone trying to perform a ludlocke, or... And then we meet this guy in a fedora named Luda. Care less, honestly, but we're gonna use him as a double encounter NPC. And you see, this one hits hard. Just like our double NPC encounter person last time, there's a very strong Pokemon this time around with Lucario, who in fact will one-shot almost every encounter you see here. There's about a 50% chance, if you do encounter a shiny Pokemon, and he won't just destroy it right away. But if there's a chance, you already know I'm going for it. And we eventually encounter a shiny Sableye. My redemption, so to speak. It happened. And it looks like it's down to if we can catch it with just one throw. And of course, it's not enough. But luckily, by the grace of Arceus himself, it even lived another Meteor Mash, meaning there's another chance for us to reclaim the shiny Sableye. And even with little to no HP left, he still breaks free. Was it my fault for not having any good Pokeballs? More than likely it was. But I didn't accept that as a mistake. I'm a YouTuber after all. So I made sure to do a save state, for scientific research, right before the second throw. Just to see how unlucky I actually was. Let me tell you this. I reset close to 100 times, and every single time, it broke out. You know what? I even tried different types of Pokeballs, and it seems like it's literally impossible. Pokemon Mogul Platinum isn't your friend. You're just a viewer. I mean, player in its game. It's time for another gym leader. This time around, it's the Steel Gym Leader, Icarus, and it's Armstrong up against Sentient Bell. So you already know I high jump kicked it and force palmed it. We eventually rang that bell for one last time, cause it's dead. Up next is Metagross, and a few high jump kicks deals with that. Next out is Agron, and of course it has Sturdy, meaning we narrowly lose Armstrong here. Everyone's favorite shield-faced dinosaur. I switch into Togekiss, not realizing the Iron Head was clearly an option. And we're forced to switch out again, this time into Hugh, the Manaphy. We get hit by an Iron Head upon switching in. Well, that's not gonna save this dinosaur from being drowned by her surf. But I guess his head is a giant life jacket because it survived, and gets healed slightly from its item. I might mean Hugh stands no chance against this Thwomp Head. So I bring out Toad 91, who eventually earthquakes the dinosaur back to its extinction. Just so a UFO with eyes and magnets could rise. And even though this thing is clearly afloat, visually at least, and, being named an unidentified flying object, we're still able to hit it with an earthquake somehow. I'm not gonna question it, that's one less badge for us. We help Cutie fight the Space Mafia yet again all over the lakes. But who cares? Let's just get into the next gym. The appropriately named Ice Gym Leader, Yeti. It's just another one of those gym leaders. I think Zelda puzzles are gonna stop me from beating this game. After everything I've been through, you think a puzzle stands a chance? So to prove this, I high jump kicked her President Obama Snow, force palmed her Weevil, get aerial aced, and then surf away her giant mammoth. And then, almost lose every single remaining Pokemon switching in and out. No problem. Goldberg did it in the end, so it's all good. We then go on a little side quest to defeat the galactic leader, Atrioc, and foil his plans on making another world. Only 2 Pokemon are level 66, Palkia and Dialga. In a double battle, mind you. Meaning, if they both attack the same target, no matter what Pokemon it is, they're most likely dying here. But we scrape by, no big deal. But after winning that battle, we have to have a real battle with him. But thankfully, our team counters his, pretty well. How about we celebrate the hard times? Resetting for, I don't know, a shiny Satan. You know, it would make for a pretty good team member, since it's, you know, basically a god. I don't know, what do you think? You think it's worth it? You know, with ghost and dragon typing? You know, why not? We were set for the embodiment of evil himself. So, one Master Ball, and we nickname our shiny Satan Owen. You imagine Satan showed up right now and showed you his wrath right in front of you, and afterwards he said, hey, my name's Owen. All fear, poof, vanished, all from your body right there. Oh, you should have said from the beginning, that's Owen. He's a good guy, Satan. I'm gonna keep it real with you. You know, gym recaps, they really got old about like 3 gyms ago. And we have literal Satan reborn on our team. So gym 8 was a breeze. Come on. You know it knows earth power. It's an electric gym. I had to do a lot more than, you know, just that, but it's fine. It's as easy as I'd hoped it would have been. We made it out alive. That's all that matters. So with all the gym badges, you know what that means. It's time for the final battles. I almost forgot about Ludwig. No idea why he's even here. If there's no way he can beat the Elite Four, there's no way he can beat us. Rock Climb beats his Star Raptor. Fly kills his Giant Beetle from Bug's Life. High Jump Kick takes out his Steel Penguin and his Fat Bear thing. You know, what is Snorlax even supposed to be? Oh, he's based off a lazy work friend. I see it now. Arcanine is defeated by splashing some water on him from Hugh. And lastly, Breloom is 4 times weak to Fly. Come on, really? I think it's time to finally, you know, have some hard battles with the Elite Four, where their max level of these Pokemon have been significantly increased. The first Elite Four member here is Eamon, and one high jump kick takes out his Umbreon clean. We almost push our luck here as, Weevil outspeeds us and lands a almost mortal blow on Armstrong, but we take it out easily after it's quad weak to fighting. I guess that's not a dark type. No, I really thought your gimmick here was, dark types. Armstrong's like a little worse for wears here for this upcoming Swampert. So I let Owen, aka Shiny Sate, Shadow Force it twice. A double Aura Sphere is enough to take out his Empoleon for our first Elite Four member win. Next up is Neeper, who claims to be an old lady and specialize in ground types. I'm not too sure which one's more unbelievable. You know, ground types? Really? Have you no class? Well, Hugh surfs away his hungry hippo. Waterfall flinches his golem, just so he could heal it, and, slightly delay its demise. Have a very close call with this, ground fish and Togekiss, living on R9 HP. And then we see Satan even has his demons. So the Mystic Raindrop does his job for him. We also defeat the Flying Scorpion Crab thing as well. And yes, my favorite ground type, saved for last, Cyndaquil. Interesting. One thing doesn't seem to be like the others. This Elite Four member, raises a few flags. First off, hilarious overworld sprite. Probably my favorite in this game so far. Just looks like something you'd never see in a Pokemon game. I gotta ask the question though, is he wearing shorts here, or is it some boxer variant? Can't forget his signature sensor bar. You know what they say, that's just slime, I guess. I don't even know why I'm saying it like that. I don't even know the guy. No affiliation. But as you can see from the footage that I'm sure has been playing during this long monologue intro for such an important character, going sunshine and rainbows until we lost the original shiny Pokemon from the anime. Kale passed away for a greater cause. Or it could have just been stupidity. But you know what? Just don't let Kale know that. Other than that, Sly, fuck you. Leading into our last Elite Four member, Nick. And I'm 90% sure, even though he's stated to be a psychic leader, he's not. After we Shadow Forced his Zespion here, would you look at that? A totally not psychic Tyranitar. That's crazy. And after a significant amount of damage, is finally able to high jump kick the quad weak to fighting Godzilla. I guess he is still trying to play the part of a psychic leader, because out next comes Alakazam, who we do crunch away with our own Godzilla. And now that all of his Pokemon seem to actually be psychic, I Shadow Forced them all away, except for the final attack here. Because if I would have actually Shadow Forced here, I would have actually taken double damage from the storm, and I would have died. If I would have missed this Aura Sphere, we would have had no chance against Cynthia here. But you know what? We've lost far too many shiny Pokemon, failed too many hunts, and broke too many rules in previous parts that clearly don't matter anymore because we've been following them ever since, of course. To lose right here, we're not just gonna walk away from the hardest Pokemon champion ever made, modified to be even harder and more terrifying. We open up with our good old Owen, Shiny Satan, against her Spiritomb. I go for Shadow Force, even knowing it's not effective, obviously. I know that. It ends up not being enough, and a Dark Pulse is coming straight for us after we return from the Shadow Realm, doing massive amounts of damage. Knowing the damage I dealt last turn would be enough for the champion AI to heal, I go for Dragon Pulse instead, so I wouldn't waste a turn with Shadow Force. take out our first of 6 Pokemon next turn with Dragon Pulse number 2. We have a very long road ahead of us still, because next out is our very own unnamed Togekiss. So knowing Owen's time is most likely up, we're not going to be able to afford a switch in here. We go for one last Shadow Force, and Moonblast takes us out next turn. Sleep well, my shiny Satan. It's time for Toad91 to avenge his fallen shiny comrade and take a huge Moonblast in the process, right before taking down Togekiss with one of the most grueling, physically demanding hobbies of all time. Rock climbing, of course. And of course, Champion AI will bring out Lucario, an avid rock climber himself. So we're not going to be too effective here. Go into Armstrong instead, who gets hit by a high jump kick. Why not just do the same thing back, equaling dead doggo, forcing My Little Mermaid to come out next and play. And this thing is scary, but we get off lucky as 2 Zen Headbutts are enough to take down Ariel, and even the Rosebush out next. You gotta do better than that. Never mind. You don't have to. She brings out Garchomp, her final and strongest Pokemon by a landslide, who easily outspeeds and defeats Armstrong. Farewell, good pal. You really carried this team on your arms, but your heart was much stronger. And your thighs, let's be honest, god damn! Leaving it all into the hands or the water droplet arms of Hugh, who not only survives an outrage, takes out the final Pokemon standing between us and being the first Mogul shiny champion ever with a Surf. Thanks to everyone who came along with me for this journey and becoming the first ever Mogul Moves shiny champion. And Ludwig, if you're watching this and looking to sign me into Mogul Moves, I'm here for that. I'll even waive the signing bonus for you. Thanks for the great game. And more importantly, the content. I've been R9, and I hope you had yourselves a damn good time. And don't forget to watch my video on Clock Tower, of course. See ya.